first GenXers.
Good evening out there in, what was it, Twitchland. We are back yet again with The Classroom. First GenXers presents The Classroom. Unfortunately, this week, due to some travel restrictions, OMalley is unable to make it. So we will be doing this week's show without her. She should be back hopefully next week. We'll see. But this week, it's just me. So tune in and enjoy. We're going to open up by talking about the NBA and the All-Star rankings and who was voted in. I believe Steph Curry, I know for a fact, was voted in. It says that it was his see, All-Star. No, we'll do it like this. Let's go. There we go, All-Star starters. Okay, there we go. NBA reveals starters for the 2025 All-Star game. Let's see who's playing with who. All right, on the Eastern Conference, we've got Donovan Mitchell. Okay, I'm good with that. Donovan Mitchell is having a hell of a season. Let's see. Jalen Brunson, definitely. He's always balling out for New York. Sorry, I got the Chiefs Bills game on in the background. It's a good one, by the way. I'm going to say Jason Tatum from the Celtics at small forward, Giannis at power forward, and then Karl Anthony Towns as the center from the Knicks as the center, or as the fifth player. From the West is Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic. Sounds like a murderer's row right there, man. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know. Some would say De'Aaron Fox is having a better season than Steph Curry right now, and that he got snubbed. But I don't know. Like, look, since the days I can remember, and this is going back to before a lot of the people that are viewing this show were born. Like, the way I remember it is the All-Star game has always been a popularity contest. It's the 10 most popular players in the league, and then I believe the coaches and players decide the reserves. I believe the coaches decide the reserves. But the starters have always been a popularity contest, and Steph is a popular dude. Like people in Sacramento know and love De'Aaron Fox. I'm pretty sure everybody in Sacramento, damn near, except for the Warriors fans out here, voted for voted for De'Aaron Fox. But Steph's just got that nationwide appeal that lands him all-star spots, because Steph is Steph. Even when he ain't Stephen, he's still Steph. So Steph Curry made it in. LeBron James doesn't surprise me. Again, I'm not saying the dude's not balling out. I'm saying right now, that I believe there are power forwards such as Anthony Davis who are balling out just as hard, if not harder. But they got to find a way. The fans voted for LeBron. So, there's a lot of LeBron fans out there. That's the thing about it. Like, it's the reason why there's such a push in the LeBron is the GOAT argument, is because you got this brand new slew of people that are all backing him, that are all trying to push this narrative online. Y'all know y'all didn't saw it on YouTube, y'all didn't saw it on Twitch, y'all know who I think is the GOAT. But does LeBron have a case? Yes. But these years, here's the thing about it. All right, the 40-year-old thing. Everybody's like, LeBron's 40. Did you see this? Did you see that he did that? It's not that I'm not impressed. It's a matter of he's not necessarily consistent with it. LeBron will give you a 38-point triple, and I know he's 40. Okay, I get it. But he'll give you a 38-point triple-double one game and then give you like 18 and 11 the next game, which isn't a bad stat line, but it's not consistent. It's not him being consistently great like he has in the past. I think that, yeah, at the age of 40, just like with Jordan, he'll have his moments. And I believe that the Lakers team will probably make the playoffs, but I don't believe that they're going to win a title unless he can give it one last go, which I believe that it's part of what his plan is. It's why you're getting this inconsistent play during the regular season, because I believe in the playoffs he's going to try to turn it on and at least get to an NBA Finals, so his son can understand what it means to play meaningful basketball. Because I'll be honest with you, and y'all can hate me all you want and say I'm hating, but I think if LeBron retired after this year and if they won the championship and LeBron retired after this year, that would be the only championship Bronny ever got in his lifetime. Unless he went to a really, really good team. I'm not saying Bronny James isn't good. The potential's there. I'm just saying he's not his daddy. We need to stop. We need to stop even talking about him like he is. Just let him fade to the background. Focus on LeBron. Keep the focus on LeBron, and let that boy grow. Because I do believe he has the skill set to be something special when it comes down to it at the end of the day. I don't believe, again, Seth Curry. Think Seth Curry. Seth Curry's career trajectory is about the same as what Bronny James is going to be. He'll be a great backup. He'll do some good things, but he'll never be the catalyst for a team winning, or the main component of a team winning a championship. One of the main components maybe, but not the main component. But wishing him definitely all the well. All right. So now we're going to move on from that to the college football playoff. Now, y'all who haven't watched in the past, y'all don't know, but it's going to literally hurt my mouth to utter this phrase. Ohio State are your 2025 national champions. Yeah, they won the national title over Notre Dame Monday on Martin Luther King Day. They did it in convincing fashion. I'm trying to remember what the final score was. Hold on, let me look that up. There we go. By a score of 34-23, and from what I remember of the game, Notre Dame wasn't really in it. Ohio State came out rocking, and just Ryan Day said, I didn't beat Michigan, but I brought home that natty. That's the insane part of it. Is Michigan wasn't even as good as they were last year, but he couldn't beat. It's just something about them rivalry games, y'all. It's just something about them rivalry games. I've seen it happen to the 49ers. I've seen it happen to Cal. I've seen it happen to Stanford. I've seen it happen to USC. Well, not that often to USC, but I've seen it happen to USC. Where they'll lose to some innocuous random, back when they were in the Pac-12, some random innocuous Pac-12 team that's 3-9 going into the game, and SC would just end up stinking up the joint and putting up a loss against them, and it just never made sense. But that's rivalry games. You look in the NFL and you look at divisional games. Divisional games are almost playoff games. You get 6 playoff games during the regular season every year, because divisional games, especially for divisions like the NFC North, the NFC West, and the NFC East. This year it was the NFC South with Detroit, Minnesota, and who was it? Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. But going back to college, Ohio State fought through a fat Pac-10. They actually won 4 to get there, right? Yeah, they won 4 for the Natty because they had to play in the first round because they didn't win the Big Ten. They lost the Big Ten championship to Oregon. Oh, the Bills just scored. Oh God, this is just heart attack. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. It is amazing, and we're gonna get to that though. We're gonna get to that. All right, so but yeah, so Ohio State, they just so y'all know they beat Tennessee, the number 9 seed, and they beat them soundly in the first round. They beat Oregon, the number 1 seed, in the second round, and soundly beat them. They beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl, and soundly beat them by 2 touchdowns, and then they proceeded to go on ahead and beat Notre Dame by 11. Whereas Notre Dame had come through Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State to get to Ohio State. Wow. Like this, I'm liking this 12 game set, or this 12 team setup, but I'll be honest with you, I'm legit waiting for them to expand. Like, again, I've always said this. This was my mock-up. 1 through 25. Right? 1 through 25 as far as the rankings, and you rank them based on strength of schedule, record, etc. 1 through 25. Those 25 for sure make the college football playoff. You can have another 4. You can go up to 29, and you can have another 4. Go to 28 and have the 25th through 28th, kind of like the NBA has with the play-in tournament. Have them play to go and play the top 4 seeds, 1 through 4. Everybody else pairs off, and then you whittle it down to a national championship game. Now, unfortunately, they ain't gonna like that, because the NCAA ain't gonna like that, because that would push the national championship game out to like mid-February, and they're already pushing it with it being like national championship game supposed to be played on New Year's Day. But we'll see. I know that they're going to plan on keep on expanding, but I hope they run a couple of years with this 12-team format, because this is pretty tight. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take our first commercial block, our only commercial block of the day, and then I will be back to discuss some NFL offseason stories. Kyle Shanahan got his guy, and also the recap of the NFL playoffs with hopefully we'll have a conclusion by then of the Bills and Chiefs game. All right. This is Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. You're watching The Classroom right here live on Twitch TV or YouTube, wherever you're catching this. Peace. All right. What's up?
You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
We back at it. Yep, we still doing it. Poetic beat. First GenXers. Gia. Let's get it, y'all. Come on. We back in the building. It's been a long time cooking in the soup kitchen. And I'm chilling with the same. Dropping these beats won't stop, nope, I can't. Let me get up in the lab, turn it up. Game on with the first GenXers. What's up? Let's flip on the switch or the Xbox and get up in my zone, I'm clowning. Let me clear my throat for a minute. Shout out to my folks while I'm in it. It ain't nothing but love, it's babe business. I really don't know what's so who ain't feeling this. and this is only the beginning. Now versus then, this is something for the chillin'. Poetic got the joints like McDonald's. I'm loving it. It's the first Gen. We're now rocking with Poetic Beats. This is the first GenXers production. Get your PlayStations out. Get your Xbox out. Get your Switch out. Let's get it in, y'all. Holla back.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
Hello, y'all out there in Radio Land and in Video Land. What's up? It's me, Double KK Double, and I'm here to run down for you what the new, as of November 1st, or as of today, lineup is on Live 365. That's right, your place to find all your favorite old and classic 4 Aces Present shows starring myself, The Saint, Mr. Deacon, Ms. Optimism, E-Read, and also your boy Cole with the FU Wrestling Podcast, and also a World of Wrestling Podcast. We'll see. Let's go down the roster of the Monday through Friday. At 12:30 a.m., you will open your day hearing an episode of Now versus Then, followed up at 3:45 a.m. by an FU Wrestling Podcast Classic episode. We finish out our mornings at 6:20 a.m. with a double case classroom, 30 minutes. You get a new episode daily. Then we follow that up with a classic episode of K Double's fifth period music class, the show you love me on. I know y'all be watching, listening, and all that. Let's see. And then now we follow that up at the middle of the day on the East Coast and the late morning on the West Coast with 3 hours of Now versus Then Deuce, including a new episode every Wednesday of the new episodes of Now versus Then airing on Twitch right here. If you're watching this on video. Then we follow that up with an episode of KD5P with a new episode every Tuesday at 12:45 p.m. of KW's fifth period music class from Live 365. And then we get 3:20, we get the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast revisited with a new episode of the Cheap Pop Podcast on Thursdays at 3:20. Let's see, and then we get Now versus Then revisited at 5:30. All of these shows from this point forward, with an exception for the next one, or actually, no, Just that show is a replay of the Now versus Them from that morning in case you missed it. Then we get West Coast Bias, a classic episode at 9:05 every night with a new episode of The Classroom every Friday from with me and OMalley on Sundays. And then we close out every night with a 40-minute edition of Lip Gloss and Mics. That's all right here on the First GenXers Radio Network, the radio network that brings you the classic episodes from 4 Aces Presents network, radio network on Blog Talk Radio and on Spreaker. You can still catch us over on Spreaker with the podcast. And lastly, I am Double KK Double. Check out my website, 2kk2network.com to find everything about my network. And I'll see you guys there. Peace. All right, what's up, y'all? And I'm back. All right, so here we go. Last time I hipped you to what was going on Saturdays and Sundays right here on Live 365, and now I'm going to hip you what's going on Monday through Friday. So now I'm going to hip you what's going on Saturday and Sunday. We open up each Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 a.m. with a classic episode of Mr. Deacon's Experience, followed by at 2:40 a.m. An classic episode of Ms. Optimism Speaks. We follow that up with a classic episode. Now, mind you, this is both on Saturday and Sunday. The days don't break apart till a little bit later. But you at 5:15 a.m. you get a classic episode of Brick in a House. Then you can follow that up with an episode of Reality Radio. Then at 10 a.m. as usual, she will stay in the same spot. We got Sam Brett with a classic episode of Sam Brett Radio Roulette or some other Sam Brett related show. We'll follow that up at 12:10 with Mr. Deacon Revisited again. Probably play the same episode from earlier in the evening. Then you're going to hear Lovely Radio at 2:45. And then that's where things kind of change up. On Saturdays, after Lovely Radio goes off the air at 4:50, at 5 o'clock, you have KD5P, K Double's fifth period music class, where I bring you music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the double aughts, whatever type of music you like to listen to, especially if you're Gen X. Then we close the night with a 2-hour, 45-minute episode of the Cheap Pop Podcast from back in the day with myself and Alpha, and that will close out our evening. On Sundays, after you hear Lovely Radio, at 4:10, you'll hear an episode of The Classroom from Spreaker, the 45-minute episode version of that show. You'll hear 5:30, the episode of Dirty Talk 101. Yeah, sorry. And then at 7:40, you get an episode of Cheap Pop Podcast Revisited. And then we close the night out with an episode of The Sidebar at 10:10. So that'll do it for Live 365 and everything that we have going on there. I hope you guys have truly enjoyed this, and we'll keep bringing it to you. Live 365, First GenXers Radio Network, 4 Aces Presents, whatever you want to call us. We're here, we're live, and we're not going away. Peace. All right, and I'm back. That game in Kansas City is getting crazy. KC up 3 with 2:17, and Buffalo got the ball. Mahomes and Josh Allen at it again. All right, so we're going to talk a couple of postseason stories here that are going on. First of all, let's talk about all the coaching hires. You got Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas. I'm not saying he's a bad hire. That was out of left field. Like, I thought it was going to be like Dion or a big splash or somebody like that. And instead we get Brian Schottenheimer. All right, Mr. Schottenheimer, your dad was a pretty damn good coach. Hopefully you will be too. You've been an O coordinator for a while, bounced around a little bit, and now you got your first head coach gig. Congratulations, Schottenheimer, for getting the Dallas gig. The Jets hired away Aaron Glenn, former NFL player and former defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. It's good for the guys behind me. Anyway, and then Jacksonville hired or Chicago hired Ben Johnson. Jacksonville hired, I can't remember his name, the guy from the OC from Tampa Bay. And Oakland hired Pete Carroll. So now the only place left without a head coach is New Orleans. And I don't know who they have in the running. But I know that all of those jobs meant this. This is the story I really wanted to get to. San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan gets his man. Shanahan went on ahead and made an offer very early on in this process to Robert Saleh, former defensive coordinator for the 49ers during their last Super Bowl run. He brought him in and offered him a contract that basically would make him the highest paid defensive coordinator or highest paid coordinator in all of football. He didn't sign it right away. He went and interviewed with not the Jets, but with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He interviewed with the Raiders. He interviewed with the Cowboys. As all of those positions got lit up, he said, "I'm coming home, and I am glad to have him back." My only frustration with him was playing zone against Mahomes, and hopefully he won't do that this time. Come on, Mr. Saleh. We love you, but And so, with that being said, like, I'm glad to have him back in house. He was definitely like the yin to Kyle Shanahan's yang. I was explaining this to somebody the other day. Kyle Shanahan works really well with defensive coordinators who can kind of take over the whole defensive department. It's not that Shanahan doesn't know what he's doing and he has no say. It's just that having somebody there who he can trust and he can focus solely on the offense and what he's got going on there puts him in a position where he can be a much more effective much more effective head coach. So I think it's going to benefit Shanahan a lot to have Saleh back. I think it's going to benefit this defense. They're familiar with him. He's familiar with them. I think the only person that's major that's on the defense that wasn't there when Saleh was there before is Leonard Floyd and a couple of the rookies. But I think they're going to grow to love him, and I think that Saleh's going to do some good things. We may see him take off for another head coaching gig before he gets to the end of this contract. All right, and finally, Lamar Jackson lost to the Buffalo Bills. Dang. All right, Bills about lost. I won't say, but yeah, like if Kansas, Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan, y'all came the closest to knocking them off Kansas City. So it's time to get back together. Super Brothers unite. Let's do some good things. We'll see what they do in the offseason, too, as far as bringing in players. Shanahan and Saleh are normally on the same page when it comes to stuff like that. So we'll see what they do there. I have one last question for this segment, and that is, where does Lamar go now? I know he's staying with the Ravens. I don't mean like that. I'm just saying, like, this dude just can't seem to get over the hump when it comes to the postseason. Even with Derrick Henry, it was there. So, like, yeah. And then one last thing I'll point out before we get to that NFC Championship game is Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh. The story continues. When Pete Carroll was at USC, Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford. And boy, those were some games. Then Pete gets hired by the Seattle Seahawks. A few years later, guess who gets hired by the 49ers? Jim Harbaugh. Their rivals yet again in the NFC West. Well, last season, Jim Harbaugh got signed by the San Diego Chargers, and Pete Carroll just got hired by the Oakland Raiders. So they will be rivals yet again. The story goes on. Can't wait to see what happens there, especially with Andy Reid and Kansas City in the mix as well. But when you look at the AFC West right now, that lineup of coaches, Sean Payton for the Denver Broncos, Pete Carroll now with the Raiders, Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs, and Jim Harbaugh with the San Diego Chargers. It's just amazing. That division's going to be one to watch. I would say that's going to be one of the toughest divisions in football. All right, so then let's move on to this morning's game and the Eagles running straight over Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. It's all good. That we know there's more conference championships games to come for the Commanders, the young Commanders team, and that quarterback Jaden Daniels. This was more about the Eagles coming out and showing that next year the 49ers better come with their A game, because the Eagles going to be ready to play. And hopefully we'll see another Eagles 49ers. Hey, think about it. Like, I'm not saying Detroit's going to fall off, like, because Detroit's a damn good team, but you can't lose your offensive coordinator and your D coordinator in the same season and have it not affect you. Like, maybe one or the other, but both, yeah, that's a tough one. So we'll see what happens with Detroit. But Minnesota's bound to bounce back. Supposedly, according to most of the guys out, the expert guys out there, J.J. McCarthy could have taken them to 14-2 as well. I think they got J.J. McCarthy locked up for 4 years. Like, they can bring back Sam Darnold for a year or two and let him lead them to some wins, possibly somewhere in the playoffs, even though he didn't do it this year. The Rams are going to be something to watch. Like, these are all the teams that are going to be coming up. So, like, I don't know. We'll see. But right now, we're looking at NFC Championship went to the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's looking so far like we're going to have another repeat. It's 1:38 left. Chiefs are up by 3. And so, like, yeah, we'll see what happens when this game is over. And we may have Mahomes versus Hurts again, and maybe in round 2, Jalen Hurts can get that victory and prevent the three-peat. Because understand this, folks, if Patrick Mahomes gets a three-peat, and I don't care if you like him or hate him, Patrick Mahomes gets a three-peat, it's him and Brady at this point. Like, I love Montana, and yes, Montana did some damn good things. But, yeah, 7 consecutive AFC Championship games has never made it has never been eliminated any earlier in the playoffs than the AFC Championship game in his entire career. Like, yeah. I still put Brady over him. Like I said, you got to get to 7. That's the goal. But the way he's performed in the playoffs and getting to another Super Bowl, like, you can't take nothing away from him. He's already a lock Hall of Famer, first ballot. Who do I like if it is Kansas City and Philly? I want to say I like Philly. And I want to say I like Philly because even watching this Bills game, the Bills have been able to run on Kansas City. And Saquon ain't no joke. Saquon Barkley went to the perfect place for him. They have an amazing offensive line that can block for him. Like, they're going to be dangerous. And this ain't the same team that Andy Reid faced before. But it is funny that Andy Reid faced off against his old team twice in the Super Bowl. That's pretty dope. Oh, and there it is. Nope, there it is, the first down. It's over. So, but anyway, y'all, I'm going to go on ahead and wrap this up and tell everybody that came, thank you for watching, and I will be back on Monday with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Now, a little bit of college football 25, a little bit of Madden 25. My 49ers on the game actually made it to the playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's edition of The Classroom. Sorry if it's just me, it's a little boring for you, but the show must go on, and hopefully we'll have OMalley back next week. Y'all stay blessed, stay up, and I'll catch you. I'm out.